Mr. Chairman, I have another question. Anybody has a question? Yeah? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, VP. I'm sorry.
Does he have a lift there now, or is there's a lift?
We would have to ask him to be sure. I don't think Matt knows for sure.
I'm not, I don't think so, but they might have some
You could ask
jacks.
the applicant.
Okay.
Mr. Evans, I didn't see any ventilation also inside this building, inside this structure here. Is there any
Well,
ventilation
that-
going to be built here, or just it's
That's
just a
would co-
structure?
Yeah, that would be part of the construction drawings, like some of the other things mentioned would be fire rating of the structure, ventilation, mechanicals, electrical. So we don't develop the plan that deeply at this level, but we would take that into consideration during the initial design, but we have intentions of meeting all the codes, mechanical, plumbing, electric, if this were to be approved.
If the board were to grant it approval, we would have to go through the fire and building codes requirements in Paterson, as you suggest, Commissioner, with regard to ventilation and safety. And also the state of New Jersey licensing procedure would kick in as well, too.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Any other commissioners? Okay, Mr. Maricondo, you next witness, please.
Yes, I do.
You're gonna have to keep your voice up, or you wanna take your mask off, it's up to you.
Aurea Oquendo. Oquendo.
Okay, Ms. Quendo, you are one of the managers and operators of Les Auto Repair LLC, along with your husband Louis?
Yes,
Okay, and as such, you're fully familiar with this application, is that right?
yes,
You've heard all Mr. Evans' testimony as well today?
yes,
Okay, and you've heard the questions and the things that the commissioners and the planning staff pointed out that need to be taken care of?
yes,
Okay, you're fully in agreement with that?
yes,
Okay, and, and the hours of operation, since you're obviously up there as a family business, since you do live on the property, is that right?
yes,
Okay, so you understand that the hours would be limited, there would be no Sunday work, you understand that as well?
yes,
Your hours would only be 8 AM to 6 PM,
yes,
and Saturdays a half a day only?
yes,
Okay, and we're very important with a shop that's this small, with the limitations of 2 bays. Everything will be by appointment, as we discussed earlier?
yes,
Okay. And as Mr. Evans described it, and Mr. Paparazzi, that's a temporary tent set up there now, right?
yes,
Do you have a lift, one of the commissioners asked? No? You have to just say yes or no.
no,
I'm sorry. And your intention is to maintain the shop for small auto services, repairs?
yes,
No major work?
no,
Okay. And that's essentially it. You've heard all of their testimony, their comments, and you agree with those comments?
yes.
Okay. That's all I have. Now, the commissioners may have questions for you.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Oquendo, do you realize that you're only supposed to have 2 cars there at any given time? So if work is completed on one, you can't put it on the street or in the lot and bring in another car?
No, yeah.
They have to be off the site before anything else comes on?
Yes.
You realize that? You also realize that any work can't be done outside of the building? There's no
Yes.
mechanic work that can be done outside the building? You know that? Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's all I have for the applicant, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Any commissioners?
Commissioner Vega has a question, Mr. Chairman. Good, Mr. Chairman? I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hi, how are you, Mrs. Campos? That's your name? Gwendol. Okay, sorry about that. Just a question regarding your neighbors. How long you lived there?
Around 8 years,
In 8 years, how often have you done mechanical work in that spot?
no, since we fill out the application for it,
So this is a recent, you started working recently?
yes,
Your husband?
Yes.
Okay. How do your neighbors feel about you putting a mechanical shop around there? You have any issues with any
No,
neighbors?
no,
how many people live in the first and second floor?
First floor, 2.
First floor, 2 people?
Yes.
Is that you and your husband, or
No, we live in the second floor.
you live in the second floor? And how many live in the second floor?
4.
4, okay. And do they have a car in the first floor?
First floor, yes, 1.
1? And how many vehicles you guys have?
Vehicles, 2.
2 vehicles? So
Yes.
that's 3 total?
I'm sorry?
3 vehicles
Yes.
total? And where do you guys park?
In the front?
In the driveway that you have now, right?
I mean, in the front of the house, in the...
So you park in the street?
Yeah, in the parking street.
You don't utilize the parking spot that you have now?
No.
Okay. No more questions.
Chairman, I have a question. So you say you never used that part of the lot as an auto repair shop, right?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying, have you ever used that lot as an auto repair?
There was a point where we got notified from the building department because they were doing some work there, yes.
How long ago was that?
That goes back about a year now.
Year now? Did anybody else operate before them, or?
There was no other operation of auto repair, no.
Because I'm looking at the photo from August 2019, and it looks like there was a lift there. There was a 2 shed with a portable bathroom as well.
August 19th,
Yeah, August 2019.
almost a year.
There was a blue lift.
Was there a lift on the property?
Just like a little one, like...
Keep your voice up. Like a small lift,
Yeah.
you're saying?
It's just a regular size shop lift. It's nothing small. And then there were 2 shed. And then you also have a portable restroom.
Right. They were temporarily setting up shop. We
Okay.
acknowledge that. I'm sorry, I estimated a year. It's been quite a long time
Yeah.
since this application first got filed.
So they set up the lift and everything without getting
They have
proper
based on the
approval?
landlord's advice that it was permitted.
Okay, thank you.
Their landlord owns a lot of property in Paterson, and they were very trusting of his advice.
Any other commissioners?
Yes, Chairman, Commissioner Monaro. Good evening. So I just have a question regarding the same lot. If you're proposing only 2 cars at a time, right here in that same image capture that we have from Google Maps, we're also looking at 4 cars within that lot. So now, are any of these, are these all cars that were being worked on at the time? Or is this because some of these don't have license plates on them?
Did you say cars on the lot space?
On the actual lot, on the lot,
On the parking area or
inside the lot.
inside the lot?
In the lot where you're proposing, it's a driveway right now, correct? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cars.
Yeah. What was in the area, enclosed area, I'm not sure. But apparently there were vehicles parked there at one point, so the building department addressed that with us right away.
Okay, Mr. Maricondo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Let me indicate initially that we appreciate the board taking our hearing finally tonight. This applicant's been working a long time towards being heard this evening. One point I'd like to make is we acknowledge that the applicant took the wrong steps at the beginning until she came to my office. She came to Mr. Evans. I corresponded with the city, we corresponded with the county, and we've tried to come forward and make the process complete and completely legitimate with regard to the ability to obtain a CO. As you've heard this evening, this is an attempt by just a husband and wife team to operate a very small business on the house, on the property that they live in and would hope to buy if there is a successful resolution of this application. Again, I would ask the board not to judge the applicant by what has transpired in the past, because the case law and statutory language is such that the applicant, in the merits of the application, should be judged by this board, and I know this board is extremely fair, on the merits of what they're seeking for approval, not what mistakes or issues were raised in the past as far as the operating without any sort of CO. So we feel strongly that this corner business in the redevelopment zone is very, very typical of the redevelopment zone corner properties. We acknowledge, although it's a mixed-use availability, this is not the type of use that normally falls as an automatic approval on the corner properties in the mixed-use portion of the redevelopment zone. But we do believe that a small corner business of this type, low-key, is appropriate along the lines of that same concept of the small business on the corners of the RA2 section of the Fourth Ward redevelopment zone. So we feel that this property, and pursuant to Mr. Evans' testimony, can adequately maintain the small two-family residential use and the small shop on site, particularly with the owner-operator on site all the time. And obviously, along the lines of the questioning that your staff raised, we would have to obtain all fire, the building, and all other code requirement approvals from the city of Paterson in order to get the CO that we would need to continue. And then there is a state licensing procedure as well. So we hope that any state licensing would also be accomplished in order for us to successfully operate on this site. That being said, we ask the board's consideration for this small operation of a family-owned business. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, I've had an opportunity to review a lot of auto repair shops, and one thing that bothers me, and it's unfortunate that the city of Paterson really does not have enforcement with a lot of the applications prior, auto repair applications that, come in front of the board and get approved for one thing and do another. And by no means am I saying that the applicant is not telling the truth, but I don't know how many commissioners were here for, I guess the last one I can think of was the River Road and Fifth Avenue application. It was Mr. Mariconda's applicant as well. And that was like several applications, and the applicant approved to sell cars as well as do an auto repair, and there were 13 spaces provided, 5 for auto repair, 5 for auto sale, and 3 for customers. And I passed that a lot doing my inspections. There's no less than 40 cars on that lot. They're doing work outside, and that's common, not only with that one, but several others that I passed. And again, I'm not saying that the applicant is not being trustworthy, but if the city had more enforcement, you could put something on there where you could see that there were only 2 cars on the lot and not in the on the street and all over the place. But if the board should approve the application, I recommend that Mr. Evans revise his plans to show that the roof eaves, which we talked about at the first meeting, be removed so they don't encroach onto the neighbor's property. And also the shed that he made mention to for recycling and garbage, he said he was going to extend it and move it away from the property line. He also needs to show that. So if you do approve it, it would be with those conditions. And that's all I have.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask Gary a question. Mr. Planner, regarding, there's another shop, Chi-Chi's, which is, it's an auto body shop. It's maybe 100 feet away. I say 100. Commissioners, you can see that?
Yeah.
So, how many shops can we have in the same locations? I mean, is that...
Well, they have the right to come in front of you, even if it's every other house, they have that opportunity to ask for a variance. You don't have to grant it, of course, but,
Yeah.
And I didn't do any inspection on that, so I don't know what they were allowed, but it was busy. The auto shop was the existing one, not
The
the
Chi-Chi's.
applicant's one, yeah.
The one right...
Yeah, it was busy, and, There were cars double parked there as well. That's why there was a tough time
The
parking.
reason why I say I see cars outside that are for sale. And that-
Yeah,
For that.
yeah.
For that, yeah, same.
Unfortunately, Commissioner, I guess the inspectors and follow-up to planning board approvals and zoning board approvals needs full-time employees, and the city doesn't have the funds at this time, I guess, so we have to do what we could do.
Thank you, Gary.
At this point, can I have a motion, please?
Does any commissioner need a script?
What's that, Maggie?
Need a script to read from, anyone?
I'm not making a motion. I'm not, but I don't know the commissioners.
Make sure your mics are off, please.
People, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion for denial.
I'll second that.
Yes. I make a motion that the application of Blaise Auto Repair of 546 East 19th Street, Paterson. Application to use a vacant 600 square feet commercial building into an auto repair facility to be denied.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will call the vote. Commissioners, Commissioner Barak, yes or no on denial?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Furman, yes or no on denial?
Can I make a comment for the record? Absolutely. Yes? Thank you. I love to see family running business and people trying to make a living. Of course, we have a problem. There's no parking around that area. It's not the right place. It breaks my heart. I'm sorry, but I have to vote yes to deny.
Commissioner Minauro, yes or no on denial?
Yes on the denial.
Thank you. Commissioner Arenas,
Yes.
on denial? Commissioner Vega, yes or no on denial?
Yes, on the denial, and I apologize. It's just not the location that, it's not a fit for the location to have that type of mechanical. That's my opinion, sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner Vega. Vice Chairman Bohem,
Yes on denial.
thank you. And Chairman Thaxton, yes or no on denial? You have 3 yes on denial, 1 negative, no vote.
Yeah,
The
you have
vote.
seven yes on denial.
6 on denial.
7.
7.
Yes, I do, but Commissioner Furman voted no.
No.
Oh, he said yes, then I apologize for that, my mistake. 7 on denial. This application has been denied. Bella's Auto Repair, 546 East 19th Street, has been denied. Thank you. Next case, Chairman?
Yes.
Which case, sir?
Item number 2.
Thank you. January 14, 21 is what I showed
What's that?
on the plan.
Oh, the date? All right, I'm gonna check it. The site plan is dated July 2nd with no revision, and the architect's plan is dated 6/11/20. That's a revision.
January 14, 21.
Whenever she's ready.
There is a due variance, yeah. What?
So they,
Here, I don't need mine.
no, they're on the side, right?
Here, put this one out, Maggie. Yeah.
No, you hold that.
Mr. Mariconda.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Alan Mariconda, my office at 726 Market Street, Paterson. On behalf of Ramiro Paulino, we're before you here, with regard to this application this evening that seeks site plan, minor subdivision, and bulk variances related to the development of a new two-family home on one of the newly created parcels. Be calling Mr. Evans, who will be testifying with respect to architectural planning. This is not a use variance because the two families are permitted in this zone. We are relying upon GB Associates Engineering as per the minor subdivision, which I know is also part of your package, hopefully. Does everybody have it, or? Should I proceed, Mr. Chairman, or? Yeah, okay. Again, we'll be relying upon Mr. Evans as our witness with regard to architectural site plan and planning testimony. However, as I indicated, this is a permitted use. Part of your plans before you should also be GB Engineering's minor subdivision map, which details the subdivision line and, of course, designates the existing house as well as the proposed new house and details the variances as well. So Mr. Evans will be incorporating by reference GB Engineering subdivision map as well, which is part of the record on file with the application. So that being said, I'll call Mr. Evans.
Yes, I do. Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we accept Mr. Evans' credentials, I assume? Yes, thank you. Mr. Evans, obviously you had an opportunity to work hand in hand with Tom Stearns of GB Associates, is that right?
Yes.
And jointly, you've worked to create the site plan, architectural, and of course, his subdivision map, which is part of the record this evening?
Yes.
Okay, so could you give us an overview of what the property contains in terms of its size, its location, and then we can talk about the subdivision as well?
Okay, the property is an irregularly shaped lot. It has frontage on Park Avenue, and it also has frontage on East 30th Street. The East 30th Street frontage is 25 feet wide with a 100-foot depth, and Park Avenue has a 50-foot width and 110 feet depth. 150 feet depth. So we have the existing lot is an L-shaped lot, as I mentioned, and it has a masonry and brick garage on East 30th Street, and the house on Park Avenue, which is existing. The proposal is to subdivide the parcel, the property, which is now 8,750 square feet, would be subdivided into two lots. The two-family lot, which we're proposing for proposed lot 9.01, would be 3,250 square feet, and the remaining building and lot on Park Avenue would be 5,500 square feet.
Mr. Evans, just for the record again, can you give the date of your plan with or the last revision?
For GBs?
Well, GB's was not revised.
Right.
So your plan?
My revision is, give me 1 second. We have the revision, original date 6/11/20, and then based on the planner letter dated 1/8, I think it says 1/9/21. We have a revision of 1/14/21, which shows the attic plans as per the letter.
Thank you. And Mr. Evans,
Yeah.
in the future, make sure all revisions get emailed to my office.
Okay.
I mean, this was a while ago, so I don't even remember. And we're fortunate, because all you did on the revision was the attic space, because I didn't get it, but I have no issue with it continuing.
Okay. All right, so basically, we have the subdivision, which we're proposing, which the lot 9.01, which I mentioned is 3,250 square feet. That would be in keeping with many of the lots on East 30th Street, which are 25 or a little smaller than 3,250. But this house would be a two-family house, which is permitted in the zone, and I'll go through the floor plans of the architectural. We have a two-sheet submission. As I mentioned, the revision date 1/14/21. So we have the ground floor level, 650 square feet. That's on sheet A1. And we have a two-car tandem garage, unfinished storage with a powder room, laundry room, and mechanicals on the first floor. Now that 650 square feet in the back is basically usable space for The second floor plan, which is Unit A, second level is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, open floor plan for living, dining, and kitchen. That would be 1,150 square feet. So with the 650, we have 1,800 square feet, which meets the minimum of 1,100 square feet minimum for a 3-bedroom unit. On the third floor, which is the top floor, we have another unit which is similar to the second floor unit, 3 bedrooms, with the exception of we have laundry and mechanical facility, laundry and laundry and a hot water unit on that floor, and then we show the unfinished attic space, which is basically only accessed by a pull-down stair or a hatch, which would access the mechanical for that unit. So each unit would be independently metered and with gas and electric, so they would have their unit mechanical in the attic for that unit. Sheet A2, we show the elevations. We have the front elevation, right side, left side, and rear. And that's consistent with many of the properties we've submitted either as of right to get permits or ones that come before this board and the planning board for a lot of this size. We do have a nice facade, bay window, different mix of materials, stone, siding, and brick for that front elevation. The subdivision, we try to keep these the lots in the same scale, density, and character of the neighborhood, so I don't believe that would have a negative impact. And there's a section in Cox which says there's a section subdivision of through lots. Basically, this is a through lot which fronts Park Avenue and East 30th Street. So in their language, it says, by doing so, planning boards have avoided the consequences that otherwise the rear yard of such an undivided lot may be used for purposes which are permissible in backyards, but which would adjoin the front yards of houses on a back street. The excessive depth of such lots creates a hardship within the meaning of NJS 40:55D 70C1. So basically, you don't really have a rear yard, you have 2 front yards. So by the nature of the subdivision, we would be bringing this neighborhood and this lot in keeping with the character of the master plan and intent of the zoning for this neighborhood.
And this is really pursuant to the L-shaped nature of the lot?
Yes, it's a R2 zone, 2-family zone, so these are permitted structures in the zone, and also the neighborhood is, it's an R2 zone, but there's a very different character in the neighborhood. There's a 7-story high-rise on Park Avenue. There's mixed use on Park Avenue. But as you go down East 30th Street and the side streets, it's predominantly all 2-family character within these. There are some garden apartments in the neighborhood, but I think that this would be the most acceptable use and development of this property.
And the existing 2-family will not be changed or added to in any way? It'll stay as is?
No, and he still has 5,500 square feet, which meets, is over the minimum of 5,000 square feet for the lot size for a 2-family.
The creation of the smaller lot and the new construction, in your estimation, conforms to the streetscape on these intersecting streets?
Yes.
What parking is left pursuant to the subdivision?
Well, we have the 2-family, which we're proposing 20 feet back. We have a driveway and 2 parking spaces in the building, and that would be for lot, I believe, 9.01. And then we have lot 12. We have, based on the parking chart, we have the first floor is,
There's no parking on
right,
that parcel.
the first floor is 2 bedrooms, second floor is 3 bedrooms, the required parking is 3.5, and there's existing 0 spaces for the Park Avenue side.
Right. Okay, and then, again, the two families are pretty standard design that we presented to this board in many cases.
Yes,
Laundry facilities are provided.
yes, each unit has their own laundry facility, so they have the ability. There's a laundromat on 33rd and Park, but I don't know if that's still operational, but
But we
there's,
have them on site.
but we have internally, we have provided that for the units.
Anything else, or would that be?
I guess this is basically, as we mentioned before, this is be the most in keeping with the master plan, the zoning and intent of the R2, and allows us to develop that with off-street parking for the new development.
That would be what we have, so if that question for.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Evans, you mentioned some bedrooms on the two-story building on Park Avenue, but there are no plans to support your accusation or testimony. There are, so Commissioners, I can't tell you what the parking requirement is without looking at plans, other than what Mr. Evans is testifying to. But 453, 455, the creation of this additional lot in the rear eliminates parking for the building that before had a two-car garage or three-car garage, whatever it was. And also, in 1983, this application was turned down to convert to a three-family, from a two-family to a three-family. It was turned down by the zoning board in 1983. So,
That was not a subdivision application, that was a 2 to a 3 only, right?
that's correct, no subdivision application. So the parking, I cannot attest to on 453 Park Avenue. The parking for the newly created lot will be 4 spaces, and 2 are being proposed. So 2 spaces will be short.
Paparazzi, we're also considering, in terms of your dialogue here as well, the possibility of whether we could reconfigure this in any way to create additional parking.
Yeah, so on the Park Avenue side, as you see on the proposed conditions plan and the boundary and topography,
This is Mr. Stern's plan.
on the subdivision plan, we would be able to provide parking if needed for the Park Avenue building. We could do stacked 2 parking, which you already, we would create those spots on the west side of the lot adjacent to the property line if needed.
Could that be accomplished without altering the subdivision line?
Yeah, that would just be, you know, normally we come to the board sometimes with these after the fact, or somebody buys a house and they want to do a driveway and put 2 parking spots in, so we would improve that, and if this were to be approved, we could condition it to providing 2 parking spaces on the west side.
And the reason that the subdivision line, I didn't touch upon this, and, I think it's pretty clear anyway, but the reason that one lot is larger than the other is because of the nature of the L shape on the corner, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It should be on.
So we got, most area we can give to the new lot is 32 feet. Is that right, or?
Well, I mean, it's not going to create any more parking, but it gives it more conformity to a 2-family.
Right, so and realistically, this is the best subdivision point.
Well, when the subdivision line was created, proposed, it allowed more space for lot 9.01. Normally, sometimes they just make it a 2,500 square foot lot, but now we have more yard. Based on pushing that building back, we have more yard
More open space.
or occupiable
So,
space.
did you want to clarify for Mr. Paparazzi where you would propose that parking again, unless that's clear?
We do, if permitted, we would provide 2 car stack parking on the Park Avenue side with the westerly side of the building. And we would submit revised plans showing that.
Yeah, of course it is. There is more than 9 feet to the property line, but, you know, these plans, guys, should be, so, you know, I shouldn't be doing the plan for you at the meeting, you know? Some of these revisions should have been done. And in my letter dated 1/9 that you addressed, Mr. Evans, also says that there are no plans for the existing building, so I can verify what what you testified to. But, you know, I mean, it's hard, but you guys, since I'm here, you know that's the
I understand.
degree of protocol that we take. You know, we want this, you know, you can't keep changing the plans and as we go along, but
I think that, fortunately though, I think in this case, that's a relatively simple modification in this case. But I understand your point, and the existing house, as per my application, does talk about having a 2 and 3 bedroom unit in the existing house. But I do understand we can even provide a supplemental interior design.
that's all I have for Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
Any commissioners?
Commissioner Vega, Mr. Chairman, can I have, thank you. Mr. Evans, so we do have more parking. You are able to have more parking in this lot. Is that what we're talking about?
For the Park Avenue site, the new lot on Park Avenue, we would propose 2 additional stacked parking, so that lot would have its own independent 2 spaces, and then we would have 2 for the new lot.
Okay.
We think it's a relatively easy modification.
This plan, it seems like other plans we've seen here before, where they have the 2 parking in the bottom, they have the little, we've seen these.
Yes.
But obviously, if you're able to, you know, to have more parking, then that should be, you know, also on the plans. That should always be, you know, okay, well,
We understand clearly, I think that's a positive benefit to add those 2 spaces to that one lot.
yes. Besides that, I don't see any other issue on this plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Are you here on this case?
He's on the Alex Para application, East 27th Street.
Okay. All right. All right. Next witness, then, Mr. Maricondo.
Thank you. Romero? You want to step up?
Okay. Pero yo no hablo inglés. Yes.
State your full name.
Yo, Ramiro Paulino. Paulino.
Okay, Romero, keep your voice up. Okay, you've spoken English very well with me, so I know you're a little nervous, but do the best you can, okay? Stay up here, stay right here.
Okay.
All right? Now, you are the owner of this property, Romero, is that right? At Park Avenue and East 30th?
Yes.
You own that property, right?
Yes.
And how long have you owned that property? How many years?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. And the house that's existing has a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom apartment? Is that right? The
That-
existing house?
Yes.
And that's a rental house, right?
Yes.
You also live in Paterson yourself, though, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's East 42nd?
Yes.
Just give us your full address. What's your full address?
339 East 42nd Street.
Okay. And you'd like to design this house as per the testimony and the plans of GB and Mr. Evans? And if this new house were to be built, it would also be a rental house?
Yes.
Okay. And it's your intention to own it, not sell it, right?
Yeah, on no sé.
Okay. Okay. Did you hear the report, or not report, testimony of Mr. Evans that we can add 2 cars on that Park Avenue side on the west side?
Yes.
With a slight change in the plans. And you agree with that?
Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Stay here, stay here, stay here. Yeah, any questions?
Thank you, Chairman. Sir, there was a doctor's office in the house. When you bought it, was there still a doctor's office there?
No,
What became of the doctor's office?
I don't know idea.
When you bought it, it was residential?
The residents.
I think that was quite a few years ago, I think, Eric.
Okay, because if it was a two-family and a doctor's office, then I'd like to know what happened to the doctor's office. Also, there appeared to be a basement, so what is in the basement?
Is the basement used for, what is it used for? Is there a basement down there?
No, it's a little bit for boiler.
Storage and boiler?
Yeah, for boiler, it's a little bit.
Voice up, okay?
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any commissioners?
Commissioner Vega. Gary, so you're saying that, is this now, I mean, it's existing now that they have some type of commercial business in the first floor?
It was at one time a doctor's office. I think there's still a placard outside in the front of the building. That's why I thought the doctor's office still existed. So, to tell you the truth, all I could tell you is based on testimony, because I don't see any plans with the basement, with the first floor, with the second floor, if that doctor's office does exist or does not exist, in its apartment or not. So, unfortunately, all I have is testimony, and I can't verify parking on testimony.
Regarding where the two cars are, the back, what do you intend to do with that little space in the back? If he could respond to that, the space that is located behind the two-car garage, first floor, what is that going to be used for?
Maybe Mr. Evans can assist us on that again.
In the new house.
Okay.
It's a standard design that we've done in the past. So, we've designed it basically limiting that to, right now it's shown as unfinished storage with a powder room. There's no, the only access is through the garage and through the first floor unit. There's
Okay.
no independent access to the.
There's no rear, okay,
So that's just windows.
okay.
So
We would accept any restriction meaning that would remain a two-family only.
Yes. And the reason why I asked, because we did have another plan like that, and we actually told them you should do individual storage for each floor, just to make sure that, it's not a spot where they're going to have, people there living.
Resolution. I got it. You got it?
That's all my questions.
Yes, Commissioner Furman, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Paulino, who's going to take care of this property maintenance-wise?
Me,
Yourself?
yeah, myself, yeah.
Do you own more properties in this city of Paterson?
Yes, I own.
How many houses do you
Oh,
own?
I got two.
2 houses beside this one.
Yeah, no,
So-
You live on East 42nd?
Yeah.
You own this house. Is there another house that you own, or is that it?
yeah, I own it.
One other one, or that's all?
I know, I have it two already, and I'm gonna make another one, gonna be 3.
No, no. You own your house on East 42nd Street, where
Yes.
you live.
Yes.
You own this house on Park and East 30th.
Yes,
Or do you own houses on any other street in the city of Paterson? Anything else?
no, no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, remember, you can have a seat. Thank you for hearing us again this evening, Commissioners. We appreciate it. This is an application which does not require a use variance, fortunately. It's a permitted use. I know the Commissioners are very familiar with the area. Gary's correct that this has an old history of having a medical office there. Maybe a plaque wasn't removed, but it's been quite a long time from my own recollection, best I can recall. But this house, I think, is appropriate. This property is appropriate for a subdivision. I believe Mr. Stearns, through his GB engineering site plan and subdivision, and Mr. Evans' architectural design, have basically created parcels that are appropriate for the L-shaped character of this property. The corner property really is the perfect kind of property as described under the statute for a subdivision, and this would give an opportunity for quality new housing for residential purposes on this site. And again, we're very agreeable to the amendment that was raised to create the 2 tandem parking spaces on the parcel that did not have parking, so that there is parking available, at least 1 space per tenant on the 2 two-family houses. And we would certainly submit, Mr. Paparazzi, an administrative review plan for that added parking space. We think this is an ideal subdivision at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, I'm going to review the variances being requested. Now, the first one is minimum lot area is 5,000 square feet. That's in the R2 zone for two-family home. Now, the lot being created is 3,250 square feet. So you have a D variance for density. So the application, although there is permitted use, you still, the application still requires 5 votes because the density, which is being created by the lot at under 5,000 square feet. So that's your first variance. Second one is minimum lot width is 50 feet, 25 is proposed. Minimum side setback is 4 feet, 25, 3.8 is proposed. Setback for both is 14 feet, 6.6 feet is proposed. Minimum rear setback is 20, 15 feet is proposed. Now, parking, the variance for the newly created lot is 2 spaces. The existing lot, I cannot tell you, without plans.
Repeat that again?
I cannot tell you the variance for parking on the existing house without any plans.
Again, there is testimony on the record that it's a 2-bedroom and a 3-bedroom.
There is testimony, but I have no plans in front of me to confirm that with the testimony.
Mr.
That's all I
Paparazzi,
have.
I also wanted to take up with you the question of, you're referring now to a D variance. Your report talks about bulk and subdivision only, and all of our plans do as well. The lot size doesn't automatically trigger the density, right?
Well, it says for two-family, you need 5,000 square feet.
Right.
So when you create a lot, it's not an existing lot, Mr. Maricon. And the reason it's not here is, I thought I was getting revisions. That's why I had it marked afterwards, and I didn't get a chance to send it out because I didn't, quite frankly, I didn't get revisions. And that's what I was going to start off with tonight, because I didn't get plans for the existing house as well. So, but I just did confer with Mr. LaRocca on that, showing him the municipal land use law, and the density is being created. That's why it's a D variance.
That sort of takes us aback at this point, obviously.
I mean, do you have a basis to dispute that?
I mean, obviously, I don't necessarily agree with it at this point, having.
Yeah, but why though? So
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
we believe that that's a bulk variance. I'd have to look at it more carefully. We hadn't noticed it as a use variance either, so.
It's not a use variance, D variance, yeah.
Again, the zoning officer's letter, everybody refers to it only as site plan bulk and minor subdivision along the way. So I have a little bit of a dilemma here in that sense,
But it's a non-conforming, newly created, undersized lot in that zone, correct?
Right, but that's bulk.
Yeah, but the density is, when they ask for 5,000 square feet for two-family, and you make 3,000, so what they're asking for is 2,500 square feet per unit, and you're creating 1,700 square feet per unit. So, wouldn't that fall under density? I did show that to Mr. LaRocca, and I think he agrees with me, but
We got a total lot size of 8,250, right?
3,250, 32.
The second lot, sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is on the newly created lot, though,
I'd like to consider asking the board at this point to have an opportunity, we could carry the matter so I could look at it and address it a little more.
Yeah.
And perhaps we could also provide an updated plan for Mr. Paparazzi on the other issue as well.
And we could discuss it, you know,
Yeah.
but for my initial review, looking at it with Mr. Paparazzi, that was my thought. Again, I'll go over it with you from.
Sure, but again, it would give us the opportunity perhaps to have to re-notify as well, because I did not notice as a D variance. And also,
What you did notice, you did notice for lot area, which created the D, you know, so.
That's true, that's true.
I think you're fine with the notice, I don't have an issue with that. And again, Mr. Mariconda, I'll review it again with you and Mr. LaRocca, but my initial reaction is that the density is created, it's being created, and you need 2,500 square feet per unit. So my initial reaction
Okay.
would be that.
okay, then we'll be able to provide you with an interior plan of the main house as well, the existing house.
Yeah.
If we could have it carried, then, Madam Secretary, or Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I just want to confirm, because I'm hearing a lot, just want you, Mr. Paparazzi, to explain to me, there's a bulk and site plan, but there is a D variance. That's for density?
Yeah, it is
Am I
a permitted,
correct?
it is a permitted use. But the bulk requirement for a two-family in the R2 zone is 5,000 square feet. That's 2,500 square feet per unit. If you create less than that, it's considered density, and I've used that in other municipalities. So I'm assuming that's what will hold up, but I'm sure, I am happy to go over it with Mr. LaRocca and Mr. Mariconda.
Right.
There may be some exceptions that I'm not aware of, but
Okay.
the lot being created, again, and
Okay.
I also understood that there may be some exceptions for one family, and they have that for one family, and they used to have that a lot where you didn't have to submit plans and stuff also because it was a one family. They were exempt from a lot. So it might be exempt on a one family, but I'm not sure if it is on a two.
Okay.
So, you know what?
I think it should be carried, really.
Yeah.
We
let's
got, we need revisions anyway.
Yeah.
We need that other revision, which would be helpful, so.
Yeah.
And we'll,
Right now, I thank a lot to our court reporter who can write this down, because I only wrote so much. But I think that I am aware right now that this will be discussed by all of you
There'll be
together,
revised
and
plans
there'll
and
be
further.
revised plans submitted before the date of this meeting that's going to be placed. Am I correct, Mr.
Yes,
Paparazzi and Mr. Mariconda?
yes, there'll be discussion about the nature of the variance, as well as revised plans to show additional parking and interior of the existing house.
And that's exactly what I wrote. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'd like to schedule this matter, with all due respect, Mr. Mariconda, to February 24th, 2021.
22.
22, I apologize.
February
February
20.
24th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, statutory time requirements would be waived, and we'll submit those plans as quick as possible.
Mr.
This,
Mariconda?
feasible, Mr. Chairman Thaxton? That's okay. So this matter of Paulino Enterprises LLC, 455 Park Avenue and 368 East 30th Street, Block 8602, Lot 12 is carried to February 24, 2022, at 7:30 p.m. And the attorney waives all statutory time requirements. Thank you very much.
Madam Secretary,
Yes,
question.
yes.
Is there a way for us to recommend for Mr. Paulino to bring in an interpreter at that time for that second meeting?
That would be up to Mr. LaRocca's discretion, not mine.
what was the question?
Karina Minauro, the commissioner, questioned that it would be, if it would be a requirement, or maybe the applicant can have an interpreter.
Very frankly, I don't think it's needed. I understand there was some concern, but his testimony is complete. We're just submitting revised plans and redressing the variance question.
Commissioner, do you anticipate having questions for the applicant on the return?
No, from just listening to what I felt like he had a hard time understanding what was going on.
You don't anticipate any additional,
I don't think you'll be testifying any further. I appreciate your concern, though.
okay.
Mr. Chairman Paterson, can we have a moment for everyone to, off the record, like 3 minutes?
3 minutes. Break for 3 minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes. On behalf of Alex Parra, Alan Maricondo, Office 726 Market Street, Paterson. Subject application is 393, 395 East 27th. This is another application, Mr. Chairman, where we will be starting anew. Mr. Paparazzi and Mr. Evans have worked hopefully successfully with regard to certain revisions in this application. And then we will proceed with our testimony from architectural and planning effort. And there is a member of the neighborhood who wishes to be heard as well. So, Mr. Evans, I'll call you at this time.
Yes, I do. Matthew Evans, architect planner, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
Mr. Chairman, we accept Mr. Evans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans, could you give us an overview of this site? I know you've worked on some modifications, so you can give us an update of where you are in the new plans as well.
Okay, basically what we have is, we have multi-sheet submission, we have A1 through A2, and we have C1, it's a cover sheet, S1, S2, and S3, and S4 for the site plan and zoning. Sheet C1, we show the zoning map, the key map, 200 feet radius.
Mr. Evans?
Yes?
Date.
Date of the plan, revisions.
The date of the plan. The date of the plan revised 9/9/21. Okay, that was based on the last meeting, July 22nd, I believe.
Hold on a second then. 9/9/21.
That's what he's asking. 9/21.
Move your finger. Let me see something. Sorry.
Different that I don't have.
Yeah, Mr. Evans, you have on here one revision date, I guess, of 10/19/19. Then there was a second revision date, which I have, which is 1/25/20, which you don't have on this third revision, which I don't have. So I'm not exactly sure what was done. So give me a second. Let me make sure that... Yeah, I have those revisions. I don't have this one. And the one dated 1/25/20 is not even dated on here. So I'm not sure what was changed on that.
Nine 9/7/21.
Can you tell me, Mr. Evans, I don't see it real quick, what was changed from 1/25/20 to 9/9/21?
We have the R2 zoning district. We updated the chart based on the July meeting. We have the architectural plans were revised, and also the parking we discussed in accordance with the comments from the last meeting, July 22nd.
Yeah, that was all done on 1/25/20.
9/9/21.
Yeah, but that was all done on 1/25/20.
What's that?
It was done on 1/25/20. Did you forget you revised it on 1/25/20?
No, with the July 22nd meeting we had, we addressed those concerns to change the apartment layout on the first floor, the dens for the apartments above, and the zoning chart.
It could be, Mr. Evans, you just have the wrong date on this one. Because,
125?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
because,
9, these are addressed 9/9/21. I don't know, there was some that are labeled 9-9. I don't know what the, how many sheets were submitted at that point. So,
You know what, I think that it's the same as 12520, so if there is a problem as we go along, I'll bring it up, okay?
okay. Okay. Right.
Yeah, and the one he has dated, that he sent to me electronically, it's dated 12520. He did address parking, the zoning requirement for four-family, the den, so.
I did, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
I think
So
it-
that
I think
was
it's just-
premature,
I
and
think
then we
it's-
have the
I think it's
updated
just the
date.
wrong date, that's
Yeah,
all.
because we noticed there was a wrong date, we updated and submitted hard copies.
Okay, that's what it might have been, okay.
All right, thank you.
Continue, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, basically what we have is the R2. We're proposing a duplex, a two-family, a four-family in nature. We are on a 5,000 square foot lot. The requirement, it would be 1,650 square feet per family. I believe that's, gives us over 55 required. And we have minimum lot width, 50 feet. And then we have front yard setback, 20 feet. And we are proposing 17 with the overhang. We need a variance of 3 feet on that. And we have, the side yard is 4 and 10, or 4 and 14 combined. We have 4 and 8. We're looking for relief on that one, where we would need 2 feet. We have the rear yard, 20 feet. We have 22 feet. 3 stories, 35 feet. We meet the requirement of that. Floor area ratio, 1.2. We have 1.5. That would trigger a D variance for 0.3 over on the floor area. Lot coverage, 40% maximum. We have 47%. We are creating 7% over on the 40% coverage. Parking requirement, 6 spaces. We have 6 provided, but we have a configuration which would not substantiate a legal 3 spaces per unit, I believe, but we've provided those 3 per each unit.
Technically, we would have, according to Mr. Paparazzi's report, we're providing 4 that are acceptable, and we have some tandem spaces if the families could work together. Is that
Yes,
fair to
we
say?
have,
Yeah.
or one family would use the tandem, and the tenant would use have a separate spot.
Right.
So that would be the site plan. We show sheet S1 shows the site and landscaping. We have landscaping to the sides. We have a main entry to the center, which both duplex 2 families would access. The property is 50 by 100, as I mentioned. The lighting plan shows lighting on the perimeter of the building at the exterior. We also show all the pertinent site details according to the requirements for the site engineering for the city of Paterson. Also, S3 shows our drainage and utility plan, showing how the utilities would connect to the main, and also storm water in the rear would be collected from the pit in the back, which meets the requirements also of the site, Paterson Engineering. Soil erosion plan, which will be submitted to the HEP Soil Conservation District. We have sheet A1. We show a 1-car garage on the left side. So looking at the left side, we would say that's one 2-family, and then to the right of that is an adjacent 2-family. So I'll describe the left side, and it's basically a mirror image. We provide garbage and recycling rooms on the behind the garage. We also show recreation space to the rear of the of the unit. And also that stair, which accesses the second floor unit, and there's no access except for the rear yard for that, and the garage for that unit. So those two spaces combined meet the minimum requirement for a three-bedroom, but we have now provided a reduction in that, and we have a master bedroom with a full bath, and then we have a shared bath, second bedroom. Then we have a den or a study, which is a smaller room used in conjunction with the living, kitchen, and dining area. We have independent laundry and mechanical for each unit, and that gross area for that is 2,510 for the floor plate. As I mentioned, the opposite unit would be mirrored of that. And then when we go up to the third floor plan, we have the same configuration, 2 bathrooms, laundry, mechanical, study, and 2 bedrooms, and a large living, dining, kitchen, open floor plan for that unit. All these units have an independent access of their own, so there's a door that enters from the front of the building. As you can see from sheet A2, we have 4 doors for each unit. So everybody has their own independent means of egress out to the street. So showing the elevations, we have a duplex design. We have these wrought iron Juliet balconies on the front for aesthetic curb appeal and different mix of materials. We have a hip roof, gable fronts. We have stone and different siding types for the gable and also the main structure. The left and rear and sides are a little more plain in nature due to the fact that they're not really visible from the street, and they're not, they don't require that much aesthetic design. The area that we're in, it's R2 zone, but as you may know, 10th Avenue is adjacent to the properties backing onto 10th Avenue. The adjacent property is a multifamily, like a apartment structure, like a pre-war type of apartment complex, similar to many of those on 10th Avenue, which have no parking, but have, probably between 18 and 24 units on a similar size lot. So as you can see, the property next door is 50 by approximately 115, and has probably multiple family, different type of use. And as you go down East 27th Street, we have different multifamilies, lot 29, 30, 31. Those are multifamily uses, similar in context and density, maybe a little more dense than ours, but they are in keeping with what we're proposing for this lot.
So fair to say that this section of the R2 zone is not really R2 in character per se. It's a very mixed residential area with high intensity in some areas.
Yeah, there's a lot of 3 families, 6 families in the neighborhood, and as I mentioned, these large apartment buildings along 10th Avenue, mixed use, commercial, and there's been some other ones, I believe, on 10th Avenue. We were approved on a 5-family, on a block or 2 away previously. I believe we came to this board for that, and it's under construction now.
You described the ability to provide 4 spaces in terms of the strict accordance with the ordinance, but you think this tandem will help us as well?
Yeah, we're using the lot very efficiently to create parking and have usability, keeping the curb cuts to a minimum, and also having as many parking spaces as we can provide within reason on the property. And I believe they allow parking for each unit, which is a plus.
All right. Anything else you wish to add, or would that conclude your testimony?
Yeah, I believe that we basically reiterated everything from the previous July 22nd. We just reinstated all that and also added in some of the comments from that meeting with these revised plans that were submitted.
By the way, this is also in close proximity to the bus routes along 10th Avenue as well?
Yeah, there's mass transit on 10th Avenue, and you know, it's accessible to a lot of amenities, groceries, and different uses.
And we've given the tenants good amenities in terms of recreation room in the basement as well?
Yes.
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. All right, Mr. Evans, first, I want to go over your parking analysis. The 4 cars works, the 6 cars does not work. The reason it does not work is, Commissioners, if you look at the parking plan, the garage door is roughly a little over 9 feet, and there's no way for that first car, the car in the garage, to maneuver past the second car. Additionally, the setback to the front porch is 17 feet. So if you hold a little bit off of the porch, the car would be sticking out into city property, and oversized cars would be sticking out onto the sidewalk. It doesn't fit. So, also, that proposal would create front yard parking variance and probably a 3-foot to the side yard variance as well. So, in my estimation, this proposal does not work, so I'm going to say that this proposal has 4-car parking. Now, in my report, I say 8 spaces are needed. Now, the reason I said that is, if you look at the floor plan, either the second floor or the third floor plan, the original plan had, where he calls for the den, it was a bedroom, and the closet door was reversed. So all he did was reverse the closet door and call it a den, which is not a building inspector, is something that the building inspector does not inspect for the construction of the home. So by just pushing the door of the closet on the other side, it's a bedroom, and that's what I'm counting it as a bedroom. I believe it's going to be a bedroom, and that therefore the 8 spaces is what I came up with. Now, I also have an issue with the recreation room in the basement. There is a separate entrance. There is, this recreation room is over 500 square feet, and it does provide a powder room and a closet, but a studio apartment in Paterson only requires 300 square feet. The recreation room is over 500, and it has its own entrance. Usually, we don't like the entrance being separate because of the possibility of creating an illegal apartment. So I would take that into consideration as well, Commissioners. I'm certainly not in favor of that, the back door for the recreation room. Now, Mr. Evans, who uses this recreation room? Is that just the tenant on the first floor?
Yeah,
Or the second floor, rather?
That would be the second floor tenant has access through to the recreation room and through to the rear yard. So they have a use of the rec room and also half of the rear yard, because the other guy to the right is going to be using his side of it for his recreation and.
Shared recreation.
No.
No?
It's a shared rear yard,
Right.
or they could put a fence in the middle if they decided they want to do a fence in the middle. But the two duplexes have access to the rear yard through the recreation room. So that would be something that if, the board considered we want to remove that door, it's not required by code, we could take that door out. The den also, if the board sees fit, we could remove the wall and the door and have it open dining, kitchen room, kitchen area, so that would not be construed or used as anything but a dining room or living space for the occupants.
Okay, but that's obviously an easy modification, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and so, Mr. Evans, we have a use variance. We have the minimum lot area is 6,600 square feet and 5,000 is proposed. Minimum front setback is 20 feet and 17 is proposed. Side setback for both is 14 feet and 8 feet is proposed. Floor area ratio maximum is 1.2 and 1.5 is proposed, which is also a D variance. Lot coverage, 40% is maximum, 47% is proposed. And if you alter that, then 6 parking spaces are required and 4 are proposed. Are we in
Right.
agreement? Okay.
We're very much ready to make that change on it then, absolutely.
Also, and I don't know if the applicant is coming up, there is an existing barbed wire fence which is prohibited in an R2 zone. And it's there, and it should be removed whether or not the application gets approved, because barbed wire is not permitted with residentials.
We certainly will do that.
Yes. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, for Mr. Evans.
Any commissioners?
So, Commissioner Vega here. Mr. Evans, how are you?
Hi.
Regarding the rear door, obviously we're going to take care of that, right?
Yes.
Regarding the den, I mean, you can maneuver that to be
We'll
or
open
more
it
space
up
to the bedroom. How do you configure that?
Well, we'd take out the wall and the door, and that would make it into, you could have a pass-through from the kitchen into the dining area back there, and then that whole space in the front can be living space. So there's no, you just have the little island, and, as part of an informal breakfast area with the kitchen, then the rest could be dedicated just to living space. We'll have the formal dining area in that space, and we have no wall or door or means of having a closet or anything else, because, a bedroom is dictated by its closet. So if you don't have a closet, it's not considered a bedroom, but in this case, I believe if we open up the wall and we have no door and we make it part of the living space, I don't think it can be construed as anything else than living space.
Also, the front, the iron railings, is that just a? It's not going to be extended. It's just going to be
decorative. It's like
it's decorative.
It's called a
Okay.
Juliet balcony, which is basically just a couple inches out. And you
Sure.
see it nowadays a
Yeah.
lot. It gives you the ability to have sliding doors and sort of access it in the way you would. But people don't store anything out there, so it's good in those terms.
I also see that, I don't know if you're going to be using cedar impressions, which is, I like the decor. If actually you're going to use it, build it this way with the brick and the stone and the cedar impressions in the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Thank
our
you.
intention, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, we want to make it a nice building.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans, just before any other commissioner goes, the reason I mentioned that about the den is the same way you reverse the closet, you can reverse it back, and that's not something that the building inspector would inspect doing a CO. So that's why there was concern.
Right, I
When they do an inspection for a final CO, it's electrical, plumbing, insulation, the windows, and that sort of thing. The closet door would not be, and that's why I brought it to the commissioner's attention, so.
We agree with that change.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now, about the recreation area, what kind of activity are we looking to have there?
Well, we call it a recreation area, and basically could be multi-purposes. A lot of times, depending on, who moves in, And, every tenant has a different way of doing things. Some people want to use it, they have a few kids, they want to be down there, the kids want to be down there, they want the kids to watch TV, they want to study or play, games down there while the adults are upstairs. Or, they say, you know what, I got a storage, I'm downsizing, I moved into this apartment, I just need storage now, I'm not gonna pay for storage, they wanna store things down there. So it has a different functions, but the limiting factor is that it's a powder room, there's no full bathroom, there's no sink, there's no kitchen or anything that would be convertible into any other thing than either a recreation room or storage or something there.
There is a sink.
Between.
There is a sink in the
There's this
powder room.
bathroom sink.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, there's a bathroom sink, but there's no separate sink for like a counter, like a bar or something like that. So they would be limited to that powder room. So it's good to have for the kids to use the powder room downstairs, and you free up the upstairs.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Smith? Do you have any questions of the architect? Just of his drawings?
My name is Christine Ivy, and I'm lot 28, and he's lot 27.
You're on the left side, right?
Yeah. And I'd like to know which side the garbage is going to be on.
There's garbage on, it's internal, I'll show you the plan. I think you might have a copy.
Because you're right close to me. You're right on top of me, really.
Yeah. But here, the good thing about this design is that everything, there's no garbage outside in the yard. It's all gonna be stored within a garbage room and a recycling room. Give me a second here. And I don't know if you can see, it's kind of small on my plan, but the garage is here, and then on the first floor, there's a garbage room, there's a door, and then there's a recycling. It's all internal, okay? It's not like there's gonna be garbage cans out in the yard or anything like that. It's all gonna be placed on the inside.
It's hard for me to,
Here's the hard copy.
it's hard for me to visualize how you're going to have a garage. That building must be very tiny, because I can't visualize parking spaces, full parking spaces on that lot with the building also. I can't visualize that.
Right, so but what we've amended our application, there's gonna be 2 spaces per unit, per side, so we're gonna have a garage space, and in front of it, there's gonna be a parking space. There's additional space, non-conforming, can't be considered a spot, so we have 2 spaces for each unit, for each 2-family.
I just can't conceive of, I just can't imagine I look at that lot since 2004, and I can't see all of that being in that space, really. It seems tiny.
Yeah, it's hard because you're looking at an empty lot with basically a parking lot, and now you're looking at, if you understand, the building on the corner, the apartment building, similar size lot, very, very similar in size, and look at how many units they have on that. So it's hard to really, see the difference, but what we're doing is basically similar to other developments in the neighborhood and throughout Paterson that we've done, consistent with this.
And here it says medium density. I can't see that block being medium. That's high density.
Yeah, it's high density, like on the corner, it's high density.
No, just all the block holes, because there's so many over 8 apartment buildings on
Right,
there, about
right.
6 or 7 apartment buildings
Right, there's
in
more,
that block.
there's more, and you're in a, I think 1 or 2 family?
It's a 2-family.
2-family, right.
Right, that was part of our discussion, that this is an area that we believe is suited for the multifamily concept, but limited to 4 units.
But it's already 6 or 7 big apartments, over 8 apartments on that block.
Down the block.
Yeah, we're definitely not interested in that type of concept.
So we're less than that. I mean, we're still, we're trying to keep it in R2 as 2-family, like a duplex or townhouse type of design.
It's 2 floors. It'll be over top of my building.
It's gonna be 3 stories. 3 stories. You're gonna have the garage and the family room that we talked about. Then we have 1 unit on the 2nd floor and the similar unit on the third
Seems
floor.
that lets out all the light from my side, It's no sunlight.
Well, I don't know the north
Look at the height requirement. What's your height dimension, ma'am?
I don't know.
Well,
I-
we're talking
Well,
about
we're
our-
within the height,
We're within our height limitations.
right, so the height would be, no
'Cause
matter
I'm
what you
just
build,
two
if it's.
floors.
What's that?
You know, my home is just 2 floors.
Right, so but we're permitted is 3 stories, so if it was a 1-family, a 5-family, it's still gonna be 3 stories, and that may or may not block light from your house. So you're looking at the north side, so, you know, we have light and air, we have space between the building.
I just can't visualize it. It's just a small space for all that you're talking about.
Right, so 4 feet, I believe, is the minimum. And we are 4 feet on the side.
Are you talking about side setback on
Yes,
that side? Okay.
yes.
So we're trying to do a state-of-the-art, modern building in good context.
Is that it? Ma'am, is that it? You have any other questions concerning?
Well, you said medium density, it's really high density. I don't know how they got medium out of that block. So, and I'm just concerned about the sunlight, because it's right up on me. It's right on top of me, really. I just can't see, it's just,
Well, you have the building, the apartment building next to this lot is I think it's like 4 or 5 stories tall next to us. So, I mean, you're really not getting, there's a lot of shadow from that building. I don't have any calculations on it, but.
We're substantially lower than that building, so any issue regarding height and light and air would be generated by other buildings on the block.
I'm not following that.
Anything else from Mr. Evans, or?
Oh, he's gonna show me something?
No, I'm just looking,
Oh, okay.
but, yeah, that's the building right there. That's your house right there.
Anything else?
No, that's all the questions I have, I can think of at this time.
That would conclude our testimony, except for the applicant. We can call him. Mr. Power?
Yes. First name is Alexei, Aleisse, Para, Parra.
Mr. Power, could you tell us your present address, please?
It's 228 Wabash, Paterson,
Okay. And you purchased this property when?
2005.
Okay. And the design that Mr. Evans has testified to with all the modifications that we've worked on, you're in full agreement with that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. Again, you understand the restrictions that we've talked about and the changes that we're asking for in terms of interior changes with the doors and the recreation room and so forth?
Yes.
And you agree to all those conditions?
Yes, sir.
And you know you must remove barbed wire? I
Yes.
understand there's security
There was
concerns?
the reason I had put those barbed wires is because there was a lot of things going on in the whole area. A lot of drugs, a lot of people jumping over the fence. They were doing a lot of stuff in there. That's why I put those barbed wires. I did it myself. But, you know, I'll take
It has to
it
be
out.
removed.
It's definitely, you know.
Para,
I mean-
it's just illegal in the R2 zone, so.
I understand. I'll remove
You
it.
put it up without a permit, so.
You know what is crazy? Because when I purchased it, it was already there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
When I purchased it, it was already there, and I figured, you know, leave it there because it's a lot of stuff going on in that area. So,
Fine,
but
we understand.
I take it off. There's no, you know, there's not an issue
We
with
agree
that.
100% to remove it.
Absolutely.
The So you're in full, that would conclude your testimony?
Yes, that would be, yes, sir,
That's
yes.
all.
Commissioners
Any
and
questions they may have?
Chairman.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Parrott, do you agree with Mr. Evans' testimony that that den area, he's going to remove that wall and it'll be like an open kitchen, open dining room, open space area? That
Yes,
wall will
sir.
be gone. You also agree that the bathroom in the basement will be a powder room, right?
Yes, sir.
No, okay. And the rear door would be eliminated, going out from the rec room?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. And obviously, the barbed wire, regardless of the application, should be, okay.
I'll take it off.
That's all I have for Mr. Parrott, Mr. Chairman.
Any commissioners?
Yes. Mr. Chairman, I do have a couple of questions for Mr. Perry. How do you pronounce your last name again?
Para.
Parra, okay.
Yes.
Understood. May I please proceed? Thank you. Do you own more properties?
Yes.
Can you mention at least one other property that you own in Paterson?
One of the property I own is on 74 Alliance Street.
Lion Street?
Yes, sir.
Now, most likely, who's gonna occupy this property, tenants-wise?
Well, tenant-wise, I come from a big family. So I have family in mind that they're going to be moving into those apartments, which on my property, that's where I have family, you know.
Are you planning to have like video camera around the property
Absolutely.
for safety issues?
Oh, sorry about that. Say that again, Commissioner?
Yes?
Say that again, sorry about that. Say that, repeat yourself.
That area is, you already mentioned there's a lot of activities
I've been
going
there since
on.
'85, so I know.
Are you planning to have like camera for security?
Absolutely,
Thank you.
yes.
Any other commissioners?
Commissioner Vega. Chairman, nice, thank you. Not much. I mean, obviously, you're going to be taking care of this property
Yes, sir.
regarding garbage and everything else. I know regarding the barbed wires, we live in Paterson. We know what we go through. I know what Gary understands, but it's pretty, sometimes you just got to do certain things. I understand that. The den, obviously, you understand that, we see it as it could be a third bedroom, but we're here agreeing with the Mr. Architect that, it's going to be changed, correct?
Absolutely,
Also, the rear door,
yes.
right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other commissioner? If not, ma'am, you have questions of the owner? Yes. Step to the mic, please.
Since my house is so close to that lot, I want to know if my property will be affected during the construction at all. Will my property be affected during the
attorney's asking
construction?
your home address.
Oh, 389 East 27th Street. I'm lot 28, he's lot 27. Will the construction affect any part of my house?
I can address that, perhaps, excuse me. What we normally do, and every developer has this obligation, is when any work permits are pulled to develop or modify a house, it's his obligation to ensure that he has permission with Public Works, with the police department, to secure the area for any construction that's being done. It has to be done, and if there's any need for any access in an area that he doesn't own, he has to get legal permission to do so. Mr. Power, I think, has got enough experience that he will know that he will follow those rules to the T.
Because I have a very big oak tree in my yard, and I think it leans over, so
I'm sure he'll be a good neighbor and work with you on that.
I'm just concerned about being so close. That's all I have.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Thank you again, Commissioners, for hearing us this evening. We think we presented a modified application which very much comes very close to full conformity in many respects. In this case, you'll notice even the variances that are required are fairly close to the requirements. We don't have big gaps in the requirements. Front setbacks, 20 feet, we have 17. The side setbacks are not egregious in any sense of the word. The FAR is not in any way very extensive in terms of its deficiency. Even lot coverage within 20%, within 8%, 20% differential, I should say. And we've provided as much parking on the site as we can. We've agreed to make further modifications tonight in terms of the interior of the building and the interior design of the outside in terms of removing doors. We want this to be strictly a 4-family building to provide some quality of life in an area and the new infusion of housing in an area that very much needs it. I think that's agreed to by the applicant and his neighbor. He knows he has to maintain high security here. The good thing is he's an experienced, lifelong Patersonian. He wants family to stay in Paterson. He lives here. He's been before the board on other work on his own home on Wabash Avenue. So he understands the requirements and limitations that he must meet in terms of all construction design and construction process. So we asked the board for consideration for a motion for approval in the sense that although this is an R2, we feel this 4-family house really fits the nature and character of the neighborhood and is in fact actually a modest development compared to the many larger multifamily developments in the area. And I think he'll do very well in terms of becoming a good neighbor here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Commissioners, I did go over the variances with Mr. Evans. The parking requirement, which I always defer to the commissioners, the parking requirement for multifamily is, for a 2-bedroom, is 2 spaces. So 8 is the required, and 4 is what is being proposed. So that 4 spaces deficit, I defer to the commissioners on, just because they know the area much better than I do. Now, if the application is to be approved, the conditions would be that the rear door would be eliminated, that additional space in the front would be eliminated because, 1, it doesn't work, and 2, it would create several variances and an encroach onto the sidewalk. 3, that den would be an open area, and Mr. Evans has agreed to those changes as well as the applicant. So if the board chooses to approve the application, it would be with those conditions. And again, the variances we went over, and the parking deficit, which is deferred to you, is 4 spaces. Thank you.
And also to include removal of barbed wire.
Commissioners, I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve with the changes.
I second the motion.
Before you call the motion, I'd like to read it into the record. One moment. Commissioner Oscar Vega makes the approval, first motion of the application of Alex Para concerning the premises at 395 East 27th Street, Block 3309, Lot 27, to construct a 4-family dwelling with 3 bedrooms per unit. The applicant proposes a 1-car garage on each side of the front of the building with a recreation room behind the garage. The second and third floors will contain 2 3-bedroom apartments per floor, for a total of 4 3-bedroom apartments. The applicant is providing 4 parking spaces of the 8 parking spaces that are required. This is for use. Both site plan D variances in R2 zone be granted and subject to the review and approval, if applicable, of the following but not limited to city engineer, Passaic County Planning Board, Passaic County Engineer, HEP Soil Conservation District, and building codes of the state of New Jersey. He so moves. Second motion is, Chairman?
I second the motion.
I first.
First and second?
Commissioner
Barat.
Barat.
Okay, thank you. May I continue with the vote, Chairman Thaxton? The vote is as follows. Commissioner Barat? Your vote, sir.
I agreed. I second approve.
Your vote is yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Furman?
For the record, I would like to make a comment, please. May I? A Patersonian person investing in our city is awesome. Please make sure you take care of your next door neighbor. She's a little bit concerned. Please do so. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Furman. Commissioner Minauro?
Yes, to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Arenas?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Vega?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Rohim?
Yes.
And Chairman Thaxton?
Yes.
This application has been approved. 7 voted in the affirmative. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
We will continue with our resolution, Chairman.
Yes, Commissioner.
Congratulations.
Two resolutions
Thank you very much.
to adopt this evening. The first resolution is for Florida Estates LLC for property located at 264-272 Florida Avenue, Block 7603, Lot 4. Property was in the R1 zone. There's an application to subdivide a 125 by 150-foot lot into 3 separate lots of equal size to construct a 2-story, 1-family dwelling with 2-car garage and basement on each floor. The application was heard on August 12, 2021, and at the conclusion of the application, there was a motion made by Commissioner Vega for the approval of this application, which was seconded by Commissioner Rohim. The matter proceeded to vote. It had 5 affirmative votes in favor of approval. The commissioner, and 2 against, so it was an approval. The commissioners who voted in favor of this application, who could vote on the resolution this evening, are Commissioner Arenas, Commissioner Furman, Commissioner Manalo, oh no, Commissioner Manalo was enough. Commissioner Rohim, Commissioner Vega.
Move.
Move.
The name of the commissioner?
Vega.
Commissioner Vega
First
moved.
motion, is there a second, Chairman Thaxton?
Approve. Commissioner
Commissioner
Barat.
Barat cannot vote.
I cannot vote.
Second, Maggie.
Thank you. Commissioner Rohim seconded the motion, Chairman Thaxton. May I proceed, sir? The vote is as follows. Commissioner Furman,
Yes.
Commissioner Arenas,
Yes.
Commissioner Vega,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Rohim.
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted.
Thank you. The next resolution is for 196 Union Avenue Associates LLC for property located at 194-196 Union Avenue, Block 1315, Lot 4, in the B2 zone. There's an application to demolish the existing mixed-use building, construct a 4-story mixed-use building with retail on the first floor, 15 residential units on the second through 4th floors. The application was also heard on August 12, 2021, and at the conclusion of the application, Commissioner Furman made a motion for the approval, which was seconded by Commissioner Levine. Matter went to a vote. There was 7 votes in favor of the application. The commissioners who could vote on this application, on this resolution, are Commissioner Furman, Commissioner Manalo, Commissioner Arenas, Commissioner Vega, Commissioner Rohim, and Chairman Thaxton. Chairman Thaxton moves it.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Rohim.
I did not hear the first vote, sir.
Chairman Thaxton, second by Commissioner Rohim.
Commissioners, Chairman Thaxton, may I proceed with the vote? Commissioners, Commissioner Furman,
Yes.
Commissioner Minauro,
Yes.
Commissioner you were absent, Commissioner Vega,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Rohim,
Yes.
and Chairman Thaxton. Thank you. This resolution has been adopted. We have no further business. Our
Thank
next
you,
meeting-
Secretary Maggie.
Meeting's adjourned.